On the edge of charted space, the freighter Aurora's Gift drifted toward Praxalia's shimmering atmosphere. Captain Aaron Chen sat at the helm, his fingers tapping lightly on the console. It was supposed to be a routine mission: deliver food supplies, pick up mineral samples, and return home. Instead, he found himself carrying a very different kind of cargo, an invitation from an alien queen. Reactor lights pulsed as the ship crossed the last energy barrier. Outside, Praxalia glowed like a pearl under twin suns. The planet's cities were built of crystal towers, their spires reaching for the heavens. Aaron felt a mix of awe and nervous tension. He had read the diplomatic files. Queen Oriel was respected for her peaceful reign, but her people were in mourning. 2 cycles ago, her husband, King Aelior, had died in a tragic accident. According to Praxalian law, the queen needed a temporary husband to complete a sacred ritual. After that, a new royal partner would be chosen. He rubbed his temples. A temporary husband, he muttered. It sounded absurd, but this was no time for jokes. The Praxalian High Council had sent the summons personally. Aaron gave orders to lower the landing platform. Lights flared around the ship as magnetic clamps locked it to the ground. Crew members secured cargo straps. Robotic loaders began their silent work. Moments later, Aaron was guided down a gleaming corridor that hummed with soft energy. Walls of polished crystal refracted light into gentle rainbows. His uniform, crisp white with blue trim, felt heavy under the weight of expectation. At the corridor's end, 2 Praxalian attendants bowed. Their skin was pale sapphire, and their eyes held calm curiosity. They gestured for Aaron to follow. They led him through a hall lined with floating glyphs, holographic symbols of Praxalia's ancient history. Each glyph told a story: the founding of the First Council, the union of the 4 provinces, the Great Peace Treaty with neighboring systems. Aaron paused to admire them, remembering schools on Earth where children learned such legends. Here, the stories were alive in light. At last they arrived at the throne hall. The room was vast and circular, with a domed ceiling that simulated the night sky. Stars glimmered above, and 2 crescent moons hovered at the rim. In the center stood a throne carved from crystal white as fresh snow. Its back soared high, crowned by a delicate arch. Seated upon it was Queen Oriel. She wore a flowing gown of silver thread that shimmered like starlight. A simple circlet rested on her brow, set with a pale gem shaped like a teardrop. Her hair fell in soft waves, the color of moonlight on water. When Aaron entered, she rose with regal grace, but her shoulders trembled. He bowed, following Praxalian custom. "Your Majesty," he said, voice steady despite the flutter in his chest. "I am Captain Aaron Chen of the Aurora's Gift. I come at your request." Her eyes, violet and deep, studied him for a long moment. Then she inclined her head. "Captain Chen," she replied, her voice soft and clear. "You honor us with your presence. Please rise." Aaron straightened. He noticed the gentle curve of her smile, the way sadness lingered around her eyes. He wanted to say something comforting, but he was a diplomat, not a poet. He waited. Oriel moved closer, as if to speak in private. The attendants retreated, leaving a space between them. "Our people believe that the ritual of echoed hearts must unite the queen with a consort, even if only briefly," she explained. "The bond produces a healing resonance in our world. Without it, grief may fracture our unity." Aaron nodded. He recalled reading about how Praxalians experienced emotions collectively through a subtle telepathic bond. Grief could spread like a storm. He understood the urgency. She continued, "You will not be bound by duties beyond the ritual. You need not share my throne or my name. You will be my temporary husband for 7 days, long enough for our healers to stabilize the resonance. Then you may return to your duties. That is an honor," Aaron said. He chose his words carefully. "I will do my best to learn your customs and serve your people well." Oriel's smile brightened. "Thank you, Captain." She turned and motioned toward the throne. "Please, sit at my side." Aaron approached the seat beside hers. As he lowered himself, he felt the strange prickling of Praxalian thoughts brushing against his mind. It was like a soft breeze carrying memories of joy and sorrow. He took a steady breath. "My people will prepare the ceremonial chamber," Oriel said. "But first allow me to introduce you to Lady Solara, our chief ritualist." A figure emerged from a side arch, a woman tall and regal, her hair woven with strands of pearl. She bowed deeply. "Captain Chen?" Lady Solara greeted. "We await your participation in the Twilight Vow ceremony at Starlight's arrival." Aaron offered a small bow. "I will be ready." With that, the attendants guided him to a private suite. The room glowed with gentle light. Furnishings were minimal: a soft couch, a low table, and cushions arranged around a shallow pool of water reflecting the simulated sky. On the table lay garments, a ceremonial robe for Aaron woven of midnight blue silk patterned with silver stars. He examined the robe, its fabric cool under his touch. It was unlike anything he had worn before. He felt a surge of excitement beneath his nerves. This was history in the making, a chance to bridge two worlds. As he dressed, he reflected on his life. A freighter captain, loyal to his crew, yet always yearning for something more. He had explored countless systems, traded goods, and mapped new routes. But he had never married. His life had been one of endless travel. Perhaps this ritual would change him. Perhaps it would change Praxalia forever. Dressed in the star-patterned robe, Aaron stood before a mirror. The silk sleeves brushed his wrists. The collar framed his neck like a halo of night. He felt both a stranger and a hero. He tucked a loose strand of hair behind his ear and breathed deeply. At starlight, just after the suns dipped below Praxalia's horizon, he was led back to the throne hall. The ceiling darkened, and the twin moons cast pale light across the floor. Lady Solara stood beside a raised dais, where a shallow, circular basin waited. Its surface rippled with faint energy patterns. Ariel, clad in a gown of pale lavender, stood behind the basin. She held a slender crystal chalice. She motioned for Aaron to join her. He stepped forward, hands clasped respectfully. Lady Solara intoned an ancient chant, her voice rising and falling like gentle waves. Ariel poured a shimmering liquid from the chalice into the basin. When the basin glowed, she turned to Aaron. He could feel her thoughts, a mix of hope and sorrow, flowing toward him. Holding out his hand, Aaron touched the liquid surface. A soft pulse traveled from his palm to his heart. He felt Oriel's presence beside him, a warmth that was both alien and comforting. The ritual's resonance spread through the hall. Lights softened. The assembled nobles bowed their heads. For a moment, Aaron closed his eyes. He sensed the collective grief of Praxalia, heavy as a storm cloud. Then, as his mind reached toward Oriel's, a thread of calm wove through the sorrow. He sensed her pain, her loneliness. He thought of his crew waiting for his safe return, of Earth's crowded streets and bright hopes. When he opened his eyes, Oriel was smiling softly. The basin's glow faded into gentle sparkles. Lady Solara ended the chant. Silence filled the hall, a silence brimming with relief. After a breath, Oriel spoke. "The ritual is complete," she announced. "You have helped us find our balance once more." Aaron bowed. "It was my honor, Your Majesty." As they left the hall, he felt a spark of anticipation. 6 days remained. In that time, he would learn her world, share his own stories, and perhaps find, unexpectedly, a bond that extended far beyond ritual. For now, though, he walked beside a grieving queen whose trust he had earned in a single, starlit moment. And so under Praxalia's twin moons, the unlikely partnership began. Two souls from different worlds joined by ceremony, bound by hope, and walking together toward an uncertain but brighter tomorrow. Under the pale light of Praxalia's twin moons, Captain Aaron Chen stood before the moonlit garden, a sacred space where silver-leafed trees swayed on invisible breezes. Tonight was his first full night as the Queen's temporary husband. Though he had taken his vows, he now faced a series of unfamiliar customs designed to honor Praxalia's traditions and to deepen the bond required by the ritual of echoed hearts. Lady Solara, the chief ritualist, awaited him at the entrance. Her face was calm and knowing. She wore a gown that shimmered like dew on leaves. In her hand, she held 2 woven garlands made of glass petals. One was pale violet, the other deep blue. "Captain Chen," she said softly, "this is the ceremony of twin garlands. You and Queen Oriel will each wear one. As the garlands brush, your thoughts will touch. Accept them with respect." Aaron nodded, his heart beating fast. He recalled how Praxalians used gentle telepathy to share feelings, but humans did not. He wondered how his mind, trained for flight paths and cargo manifests, would respond to this intimate sharing. Nearby, Queen Oriel stood beneath a silver willow. Her moonlight hair fell around her shoulders in graceful waves. She smiled as Aaron approached, but he saw a flicker of nervousness in her violet eyes. He offered her the violet garland. She placed it around his neck, its cool petals resting against his shirt. Then she took the blue garland and draped it on herself. Lady Solara raised her arms, and soft chimes rang through the garden. Aaron felt a slight tingle behind his eyes. He blinked and saw faint threads of light weaving from Oriel's head toward his. He gasped, unprepared. The Queen's thoughts drifted into his mind, a gentle sadness, memories of her late husband, moments of laughter under starlit skies. He steadied himself. "Your Majesty," he whispered, I feel your sorrow. I am sorry." Oriel's voice entered his thoughts, tinged with relief. "Thank you." The single word glowed warmly. Her pain did not overwhelm him. Instead, it settled like a soft mist, and he sensed her gratitude. Gathering courage, he opened his own mind, sending her peaceful images. Earth's sunrise over a calm ocean, children playing in sunlight, the simple joy of home. She inhaled, and Aaron felt a spark of joy flit through their shared space. The garden lights brightened as if celebrating. Lady Solara lowered her arms and the chimes faded. The twins' moons reflected off the glass petals, scattering tiny rainbows across lush grass. The first ritual was complete. As they walked back to the palace, Oriel reached for Aaron's hand. Their fingers touched, and he noticed how soft. Her skin felt like cool marble warmed by a hidden flame. He squeezed her hand gently. "You were brave," he said aloud, though he knew she would hear his thought as well. She looked up at him. "You made it possible." Over the next 2 days, more rituals followed. During dawn's whisper, Aaron rose before Praxalia's twin sons to join Oriel in the sunroost terrace. Here they shared the first meal of the day, sweet cream, molded into star shapes, and fruit that tasted of honey and summer rain. As they ate, Oriel tapped their goblets together in a ritual toast. A flicker of light floated between the cups, carrying their joined hopes for the day. Aaron tried to match her precise movements, occasionally knocking his goblet and sending a ring of laughter through the terrace. Oriel's melodic giggle warmed his cheeks. In the afternoon, they took part in the gift of echoed dreams. In Icium, a chamber lined with silvery silk, they reclined on low cushions. A shallow pool of water lay between them. Its surface mirrored the shifting colors of the palace lights. As they placed their hands on the water's edge, Lady Solara guided them to close their eyes. Aaron drifted in the hush, and soon he found himself in a shared dreamscape. He saw a forest of giant ferns, the leaves glowing faintly. Strange creatures, with translucent wings, wandered shyly. Through the mist he spotted Oriel, wearing a simple gown of forest green, her hair braided with fresh flowers. Together, they ran toward a clear spring, where planets hung low in a dusky sky. Aaron laughed as a creature like a silver fox danced beside them, and Oriel reached out to stroke its fur, her smile bright. Then the dream shimmered. He found himself back in the chamber, eyes still closed. He heard Oriel's soft breath. When they opened their eyes, she looked at him with wonder. "You have a gift for dreams," she said. "You make them feel real." Aaron shrugged, a flush on his cheeks. "I've had good guidance." Each ritual drew them closer. During the ceremony of shared stories, they sat beside a fire that crackled with violet flames. They took turns recounting tales from their worlds. Aaron spoke of Earth's vast blue belt, great oceans that cover 70% of the planet, and the quiet beauty of forested mountains. Oriel shared legends of Praxalia's origin, how the first queen tamed a storm that would have split the world in two. With each tale, their laughter and thoughtful silences wove a tapestry of trust. Yet not all moments were without awkwardness. The dance of Lightfoot moments tested Aaron's balance. In a grand hall lit by floating lanterns, he and Oriel attempted a Praxalian court dance. The steps were intricate, small hops, light spins, and precise foot placements that traced constellations on the marble floor. Aaron stumbled, nearly colliding with a marble column. Oriel caught him, steadying his elbow with a gentle laugh. "Your two left feet are charming," she teased, guiding him back in time for the next step. Aaron blushed but grinned. For the first time, he felt at home in alien customs. By the end of the fifth ceremony, 6 days had passed. The rituals, twin garlands, sunrise toasts, shared dreams, story circles, and dance had knit their hearts and minds together in ways neither had expected. On the morning of the 7th day, as the suns climbed high, Aaron and Oriel stood on the terrace of New Dawn. A low platform of smooth stone overlooked the city. Below, crystal spires caught the light, casting prismatic patterns on the streets. Lady Solara joined them, her robes trailing like mist. She held a small crystalline orb. "This is the heart of resonance," she explained. "When you both touch it and speak the vow of unity, the ritual of echoed hearts will conclude. The world will feel its harmony." Aaron inhaled. He glanced at Oriel. She met his eyes with gentle confidence. He took her hand. "I am grateful," he began, voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "for this chance to know your world, to share its beauty, and to stand by your side, even if only for this time." Oriel's voice joined his. "I vow to carry your courage and hope in my heart. May our unity guide Praxalia to peace and joy." Together they placed their hands on the orb. Light pulsed from it in rhythm with their words, sending ripples of energy through the terrace and beyond. Aaron felt a warmth spread from his chest to his fingertips. He sensed the city awaken, first a murmur beneath the crystal towers, then a gentle hum that grew steady and strong. Far below, people paused in their tasks and looked skyward, as if drawn by an unseen force. The orb's glow faded, and Lady Solara bowed. "The ritual is complete," she announced. "Praxalia's heart sings again." For a moment, Aaron and Oriel stood in silence, hands still joined. Then she leaned forward, pressing her forehead to his. He felt her telepathic voice, a single word glowing warmly. "Thank you." He replied with his own thought. "It was my honor." As they returned to the palace, Aaron reflected on how much he had learned and how much he had felt. He had come only as a stranger, a duty-bound captain. Now he walked beside a queen who trusted him with her people's hope. He wondered what the final day would bring, and whether, when the time came, he would truly leave her side. For now, though, he carried within him the gentle echo of their unity, a promise that would change both their worlds forever. Captain Aaron Chen stood in the High Council chamber, a room built into living crystal that pulsed with soft light. Around him, Praxalia's leading nobles awaited his words. He felt the weight of many eyes upon him, yet he did not tremble. His voice was calm and clear. "Esteemed members of the council," he began, "the trade routes we propose will bring food, medicine, and art from Earth, and in return, Praxalia can share its healing crystals and water harvesting technology. Both our peoples will grow stronger." A murmur ran through the chamber. On one side, conservative nobles frowned. On the other, progressive leaders exchanged hopeful glances. A tall, stern-faced noble named Lord Rymos stood. His robes were embroidered with silver threads, and his voice was sharp. "Captain Chen," Rymos said, "we have heard promises before. How can we trust that Earth will not take advantage of our riches and leave us with empty coffers?" Aaron met his gaze steadily. "I understand your concern, Lord Rymos. On Earth, trade agreements are backed by many nations, and we have strict laws against unfair deals. We will form a joint oversight council. Representatives from both worlds will monitor each shipment, ensure fairness, and resolve disputes." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Our galaxy thrives when we share, not when we hoard. Together, we can build a lasting friendship." Lady Mira, a softer voice on the council, leaned forward. "What of cultural exchange? We fear losing our traditions." Aaron smiled gently. "Cultural exchange will be part of every shipment. We will send teachers, artists, and historians to learn Praxalian ways, and we invite Praxalian scholars to Earth. We will honor your traditions and help others understand them." The chamber grew quiet. The soft glow of the crystal walls seemed to brighten. At last, Lady Mira rose. "I move to approve this treaty, with the joint council oversight as proposed." Lord Rymos hesitated, then nodded. One by one, the nobles stood to show their support. A chorus of voices rose. "Approved." The trade treaty passed with near-unanimous consent. Outside the chamber, Aaron felt a rush of relief. The mission, that had begun as a strange ritual, had become a true partnership. He returned to the palace gardens where Queen Oriel awaited him. The bioluminescent gardens were alive with gentle light. Vines dripped pale green bulbs. Flowers glowed in soft pink and blue. A narrow path wound through lattices of glowing branches. As Aaron joined her, Oriel smiled. "You were remarkable, Aaron," she said. "You understand our fears and our hopes." He shook his head. "I only spoke from my own world's experience. Your people have the same needs we do: safety, friendship, and understanding." They walked in silence for a time, listening to the soft hum of the gardens. Firefly-like insects drifted past, leaving trails of light in the air. Oriel paused by a glowing pond. Fish with crystal scales swam below the surface. She knelt and touched the water, watching ripples sparkle. "Praxis," she said softly. "This pond was planted by my grandmother, the first queen. She believed that life must always glow, even in darkness. She taught me to protect beauty and to seek harmony." Aaron knelt beside her. "Your grandmother's vision lives on here. I feel it in every leaf and every light." She looked at him, her violet eyes reflecting the pond's glow. "You see our world clearly. You respect it. That is a rare gift." Aaron's heart warmed. "I want to learn more. Show me your history. Tell me about your people." Oriel rose and extended her hand. Together, they followed the path deeper into the garden. She spoke of the 4 provinces, each founded by a different tribe. She told him how they had once been at war, until a wise queen forged a treaty beneath this very sky. Aaron listened, fascinated by stories older than Earth's oldest cities. As they reached a jade bridge, Aaron heard distant music. A soft melody played on crystal flutes. He turned to Oriel. "Will there be a feast tonight?" She nodded. "Yes, we celebrate the treaty's approval with music, dance, and a shared banquet. You must join us." Aaron smiled. "I would be honored." That evening, the palace courtyard was alive with people from all walks of Praxalian life. Artisans, displaying crystalline sculptures, scholars reciting history in poetic verse, and families weaving floral garlands. At the center, a raised platform held musicians whose instruments glowed with inner light. Aaron wore a simple robe of dark blue, trimmed in silver. Oriel appeared beside him in a gown reflecting the garden's colors. As they stepped onto the platform, the music softened. The crowd hushed. "How may we honor our new friends from Earth?" Oriel asked. A young scholar stepped forward, carrying a small stone tablet. In clear Earth speech, he said, "Captain Chen, we honor you with the Song of Stars, a melody that has guided our people since the first ship rose into the sky. The musicians began to play. Crystal flutes and stringed instruments wove a gentle tune, rising like the first light of dawn. Aaron felt the music's warmth fill him. Around the courtyard, the crowd swayed. Even the nobles who had doubted him now smiled in appreciation. When the song ended, thunderous applause filled the night air. Aaron bowed deeply, then turned to Oriel. She beamed. "I think your people will like this," he said. She laughed, a sound like silver bells. "They already do." Later, as the feast wound down and lanterns floated into the sky, Aaron found a quiet spot on the palace balcony. He looked out at the city's crystal towers now shimmering under moonlight. Oriel joined him. She leaned on the railing beside him, her shoulder brushing his. "You have done so much in 6 days," she said. "You have become more than a temporary husband. You are a friend to my world." Aaron looked at her. "I came to fulfill a ritual. Instead, I found a purpose, and a people who welcomed me with open hearts." Her hand found his. "And I have found someone whose ideas bring hope. Together, we can guide Praxalia to a brighter time." He squeezed her hand. "I do not want this to end." Her violet eyes glowed softly. "Neither do I." They stood in silence, watching lanterns drift skyward. Each lantern carried a wish, a hope for peace, a prayer for healing, a dream of unity. Aaron realized that he and Oriel had crafted a new dream together, one that stretched beyond their two worlds. As the last lantern disappeared into the night, Aaron spoke softly. "I will not leave, Oriel. Not when there is still work to be done here." She turned to him, a gentle smile playing on her lips. "Then stay. Help me lead Praxalia, if you will." His heart soared. "I will," he whispered. And so, under the glow of bioluminescent branches and crystal towers, two leaders from different worlds made a promise. To build a future together grounded in respect, cooperation, and the shared light of hope. The ripples of their bond would echo far beyond the palace walls, touching every corner of Praxalia, and one day, even Earth itself. A week had passed since the Treaty of Echoed Hearts was sealed. Captain Aaron Chen and Queen Oriel walked the palace corridors side by side, their bond stronger than ever. Yet beyond the crystal walls, a storm was gathering. Some high nobles feared change. They believed an alien-born consort was a threat to Praxalia's ancient customs. Late one morning, Aaron stood in the Hall of Statutes, a grand chamber where laws were carved into living crystal. He had come to discuss the upcoming council session with Oriel's advisor, Lady Celera. The air was cool and bright, refracting soft rainbows across the floor. "Captain," Lady Celera said, her tone gentle but firm, "I must warn you. Lord Rymos and his faction question your role as consort. They intend to challenge the joint regency at the next council meeting." Aaron frowned. "They cannot simply remove me. The ritual of Echoed Hearts gave me this role for 7 days and the people accepted it." Celera shook her head. "True, but custom says the Queen's next consort must be Praxalian-born. They will claim tradition gives them the right to choose a new mate, ignoring the unity you've built." Aaron pressed his lips together. "Then we must prepare. We cannot let narrow minds undo what we've achieved." Celera offered a small smile. "Your courage gives me hope. Together, we will face this challenge." That evening, Aaron found Oriel in the bioluminescent gardens. Firefly-like lights drifted through the soft air. She held a silver chalice of moonlight wine, her thoughtful gaze fixed on the glowing pond. "Aaron," she said quietly, "the council meeting is tomorrow, at dawn. I have summoned all nobles to debate the regency. I wish you to speak on my behalf." His heart quickened. "I will stand by you, Oriel. We will show them that unity matters more than bloodline." She smiled, but her eyes held concern. "Be careful. Some may try to trap you with tricky questions. I fear they will not listen to reason easily." Aaron reached for her hand. "I will stay true to our people, and to you." At dawn the next day, the High Council chamber filled with nobles. draped in rich silks. The crystal walls glowed softly as two suns rose outside. Queen Oriel took her place on the throne, regal and calm. To her right stood Aaron, his uniform neat, his posture steady. Lady Solara opened the session. We gather to consider the regency of Queen Oriel. Some propose a new consort of Praxalian birth. Others support the existing joint regency with Captain Aaron Chen. A hush fell. Lord Rymos rose first. His silver robes trailed behind him. Esteemed council, he began, voice firm. Our ancestors established that a queen's consort must share our blood, our heritage. Only then can they truly understand and serve Praxalia. Captain Chen is a stranger. His customs, his body, even his thoughts are alien to us. We must preserve tradition. He swept his hand toward Aaron. We respect his service, but it is time for a true Praxalian to take the role. A murmur of agreement rose from some corners. Aaron felt the weight of their doubt. He steadied himself, recalling every moment he and Oriel had shared, every ritual, every treaty, every laugh. Oriel stood. Lord Rymos, I honor our traditions, yet customs exist to serve our people, not to bind them in grief or fear. Captain Chen has shown respect for our ways. He has brought new hope and unity. Should we reject unity for the sake of old words carved in crystal? Some nobles frowned. Others exchanged uneasy glances. Aaron stepped forward. His voice carried across the hall. Honored council, I speak not to overthrow tradition, but to strengthen it. Praxalia has always adapted. The four provinces once fought until a queen forged peace by embracing change. That spirit made you strong. He paused, meeting each noble's gaze. I learned your sacred chants, walked your moonlit gardens, shared your dreams. I have felt your people's pain and joy. I stand here because Queen Oriel entrusted me with her heart and her world. I do not seek to replace Praxalian heritage. I seek to add to it. A soft glow shimmered in the crystal walls as if responding to his words. Aaron continued, If unity means closing our borders to new ideas, then we remain small. But if unity means opening our hearts, then we become vast. I propose we create a new tradition, a regency chosen by merit and bond, not by birth alone. Let the queen's consort be the one who best serves Praxalia's future. A murmur turned to thoughtful silence. Some nobles nodded slowly. At that moment, Lady Mira stood. Her robes of emerald and gold shone brightly. I second Captain Chen's proposal. Let us create a new path. Our people deserve leaders who inspire, no matter their origins. The chamber paused. Then one by one, nobles rose in support. Even Lord Rymos, after a long moment of silence, stood. His voice was quieter, but firm. I yield to the council's wisdom. If our people see Captain Chen as a worthy consort, then tradition must bend to serve their will. Aaron felt relief and pride mingle in his chest. He bowed respectfully. Oriel's smile warmed him. That evening, the palace held a celebration in honor of the new regency. Crystal lanterns floated along the garden's paths. Music drifted on the gentle breeze. Aaron and Oriel walked among the guests, accepting congratulations and blessings. A young artisan approached, carrying a small crystal sculpture. It depicted two figures, one human, one Praxalian, holding hands beneath twin moons. A gift, Your Majesty, Captain, she said, her voice bright. May this remind us that beauty comes from union. Oriel accepted it gently, then handed it to Aaron. He held it reverently. It is perfect, he said. Thank you. Later they found a quiet terrace overlooking the city. The crystal spires glowed under twin moons. Oriel leaned against the railing. Aaron stood beside her, his eyes on the distant lights. You were brave today, she said, her voice soft with pride. Aaron glanced at her. I only spoke what I believe. You gave me strength. She turned to him. You have done more than a consort from Earth has ever done. You have shown that hearts know no borders. He took her hand. Together we will guide Praxalia forward. Oriel's smile held a promise. Yes, together. But even as the celebration continued, a new question hovered in Aaron's mind. The Regency was secure for now, but what would happen when he chose to return to Earth? Would his bond with Auriel withstand the distance? Could two worlds remain close when separated by countless light years? That night, in their private suite, Aaron gazed at the small crystal sculpture on the table. Its figures stood united under twin moons. He thought of the debates, the ceremonies, and the shared dreams. He thought of Auriel's trust and the people's renewed hope. Auriel entered, wearing a simple gown of moonlight white. She paused, seeing him lost in thought. "What troubles you?" Aaron looked up. "I have found purpose here. But home calls me still. I do not know how to balance both worlds." She stepped closer, placing her hand on his shoulder. "Praxalia is your home now too. We are bound by more than ritual. We are bound by choice." He nodded slowly. "Then I choose to stay. Until our worlds find a way to meet again." Auriel's violet eyes shone. "And I choose you." They embraced softly, the crystal walls reflecting their silhouette. Outside, the city's lanterns glowed in gentle patterns, celebrating a new tradition born of courage and unity. Soon the morning light would herald the final day of Aaron's temporary regency, yet neither he nor Auriel would think of it as an ending. Instead, they saw it as the start of a new chapter, for Praxalia, for Earth, and for two souls who dared to bridge worlds. The morning light on Praxalia's horizon was soft and golden, filtering through crystal spires to cast gentle beams across the palace gardens. Captain Aaron Chen woke in his suite, feeling the weight and wonder of the past days. Today was the seventh day, the final day of his temporary regency by Praxalian law. Yet neither he nor Queen Auriel thought of it as an ending. He dressed in a simple robe of pale silver, patterned with tiny constellations. When he stepped into the sitting room, Auriel was already there, gazing out at the warming sky. Her gown was the color of dawn's first light, and her hair softly glowed in the morning sun. "Aaron," she said, turning to him with a gentle smile, "are you ready for the final ritual?" He nodded, stepping closer. "More than ready. I have learned so much. I only wish this time did not have to end." She reached for his hand. "It does not have to end. There is a way." Before he could ask what she meant, Lady Solara entered, carrying a small crystal chalice and an orb etched with luminous runes. "Your Majesty, Captain," she said, bowing. "The ritual of everlasting unity awaits on the terrace of New Dawn. When you speak the vow of continuance, the temporary bond becomes permanent, if both parties agree." Aaron's heart quickened. A permanent bond? He looked at Auriel, his mind racing with hope and caution. Auriel took the chalice and orb from Solara. "This ritual was reserved for only the most sacred unions," she explained. "It transforms the echoed resonance into a living vow. It cannot be broken by any law of Praxalia or Earth." She paused, her violet eyes shining. "Do you wish to share this vow with me?" Aaron swallowed. He thought of his crew, his family on Earth, and the life he had once known. Yet every memory of home was woven now with the threads of this world. The laughter of Praxalian children, the gentle light of the crystal towers, and Auriel's trusting smile. He pressed her hand. "I do." They walked together through the palace halls, past attendants who bowed with warm smiles. The streets outside were quiet. The city held its breath in anticipation. As they crossed the terrace of New Dawn, the air shimmered with early sunlight. A low platform of polished stone faced the twin moons' carved reliefs, etched as silent witnesses. Attendants draped fresh garlands over the platform's edge, flowers of pale blue and silver petals that glowed with inner light. Lady Solara stood nearby, her robes trailing like soft mist. She held the chalice and orb carefully. Aaron and Auriel stepped onto the platform. He felt the gentle hum of Praxalia's collective mind, pulsing with curiosity and hope. The assembled nobles and citizens were gathered below on tiered terraces, quiet as dawn. Lady Solara intoned the opening words of the ritual, her voice weaving through the air like a gentle breeze. By the light of dawn and the witness of moons, two hearts may forge a bond that lasts beyond ritual, beyond distance, beyond time. She handed the chalice to Oriel. The queen raised it and spoke. I, Oriel of Praxalia, choose Captain Aaron Chen as my eternal consort. I vow to honor his courage, his kindness, and his love for my people. Oriel poured the chalice's silver wine into the orb. The runes glowed as the liquid filled the sphere. Then she turned to Aaron and held the orb out to him. Aaron felt the tremor of significance in his chest. He took the orb with both hands and spoke clearly. I, Aaron Chen of Earth, choose Queen Oriel of Praxalia as my eternal partner. I vow to stand with her, to learn from her people, and to dedicate my life to the unity we have forged. As his words echoed, the orb burst into softly swirling light. Streams of silver and gold threaded through the air, spiraling around them. Aaron felt warmth flow from the orb into his skin, filling him with a calm certainty. He sensed Oriel's mind reach for his, no longer as a brief echo, but as a living presence. The light coalesced into a radiant arch above them, forming a bridge of energy between the twin moons' reliefs. The crowd below gasped and then cheered in unison, their voices rising like a wave of joy. Faces glowed with tears and smiles, Praxalians and Terrans alike standing together in celebration. Oriel stepped forward and pressed her forehead to Aaron's. In that touch he felt every emotion she had ever known, grief, hope, love, and laughter, all entwined with his own. He responded with thoughts of Earth's wide oceans, its soaring mountains, and the faces of his family and crew, promising to build a bridge between worlds. When they stepped back, Lady Solara called the ritual complete. The orb's light faded, leaving behind a faint shimmer that lingered in the air like stardust. In the hours that followed, the city erupted in celebration. Music filled the streets as Praxalian flutes and Terran strings played together for the first time. Markets opened, offering both earth spices and Praxalian delicacies. Children wove garlands of glass petals and paper lanterns. Aaron and Oriel walked among the crowds, greeting citizens and sharing laughter. They paused at a small stall run by a Praxalian baker. The baker offered them treats shaped like stars and comets, their crusts glazed with sweet luminescence. Aaron bit into one, its flavor a perfect blend of honey and moon fruit. He grinned, offering one to Oriel. She accepted, her eyes bright with delight. As midday neared, they returned to the palace gardens, now transformed into a festival ground. Lanterns of crystal hung from silver-leafed trees. Tables groaned under feasts of Earth's roasted vegetables and Praxalian crystal breads. A long banquet table had been set for them, the queen and her consort at the center. They sat side by side, toasting to the future. To unity, Oriel said, raising her chalice. To love that spans the stars. Aaron smiled, tapping his chalice against hers. To new beginnings. They savored food and conversation, surrounded by friends and allies. Oriel introduced him as her consort, her partner for life, and the crowd cheered with genuine affection. Later, as the sun set and the twin moons rose once more, Aaron and Oriel found a quiet balcony overlooking the city. Below, the crystal towers glowed like lanterns in the night. The air was warm, carrying the faint sound of distant laughter. Oriel leaned against the balcony's railing, her hand in Aaron's. "You have given my world more than I could have imagined," she said softly. "You have shown us that hearts know no boundaries." Aaron looked out at the city he had come to love. "And you have given me a home I never expected. I thought my life was the Aurora's gift, but it was you who gifted me a new beginning." She turned to him, her violet eyes reflecting the moonlight. He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "I promise to stand by you," he said, "as consort, as friend, and as partner for life." Oriel smiled, pressing her forehead to Hurricane, "And I promise to stand by you, Aaron Chen of Earth." They held each other close, two souls bound by choice and ceremony, ready to lead Praxalia and one day unite both their worlds under the light of twin moons. Around them, lanterns glowed, and music filled the air, a living testament to the power of unity. The promise of hope and the enduring spirit of two worlds joined together at last.